So over the past couple of weeks, I've been pretty sick. I actually went to the doctor, found out I got a really bad case of ligma. I only have about 40 to 60 years left, guys, so it's not good at all. Now, all jokes aside, I actually have been sick, and I've been catching up on a lot of movies and documentaries over the past couple of weeks, and one of the documentaries I watched was a movie called Super Size Me 2, Holy Chicken. Now, this was a direct sequel to the original Super Size Me movie or documentary, which came out in 2004, and arguably that documentary was one of the most impactful of all time. It actually revolutionized the fast food industry, massively changed after that documentary dropped. And I actually started to look into Morgan Spurlock, who is actually the person who made both of these films, and I actually found out that recently, just in the past couple of years, he actually secretly admitted to Super Size Me, the original film, that film was actually fake, or it was a scam. The algorithm really likes it when I use that word on this channel, so scam, scammity scam. But yeah, we found out that movie, secretly, he revealed, without many people seeming to realize that movie was a scam. So with that being said, let's go ahead and break it all down and find out how Super Size Me is an absolute scam.
Would you like fries with that?
So the original Super Size Me documentary came out in 2004 and followed Morgan Spurlock as he attempted to eat nothing but McDonald's for an entire month. Morgan believed that Americans' overconsumption of fast food was the driving factor in the growing obesity epidemic and wanted to see what an entire month of only fast food would do to his body. Over the course of Morgan's experiment, aside from eating only McDonald's, he decided to follow a few other rules, such as eating 3 full McDonald's meals a day. He also had to eat everything on the menu at least one time, and every time he was asked to supersize his meal, he had to do that also. Now, if you're in the Zoomer generation, you may not even know what the McDonald's supersize menu is, as McDonald's and other fast food companies ended up removing that option in late 2004, just 6 months after Morgan's movie came out. To this day, now 20 years later, McDonald's has never brought back the supersize menu option, but that hasn't seemed to have any impact on America's ever-growing weight problem.
When fast food companies first opened, they generally introduced one size. For example, one size French fries when McDonald's first opened, called fries. That size fries is now called small, medium, large, and supersize.
Before Morgan started his journey of eating only McDonald's for a month, he decided to get checkups from several different doctors to make sure he was in good enough health to try this, and he also asked their opinion on how they thought this 1-month binge eating would affect his health at the end of the 30 days.
You're feeling quite well today, yes?
Quite well.
In general, any fatigue or weight loss, weight gain, any change in your vision?
No fever, no earache, no cough, no shortness of breath, no chest pain, no
Nausea, vomiting, heartburn.
And no hospitalizations for illness.
No.
Any alcohol use?
Now, none.
Your general health, is outstanding.
With a clean bill of health, Morgan began his 30-day challenge, and within 5 days, he had already put on 9 pounds and claimed to be suffering from depression, drowsiness, and headaches. His then-girlfriend even said that he lost much of his energy and that his sex drive was near zero. Keep in mind, all of this was claimed to have happened after eating nothing but McDonald's for only 5 days. As the month went on, his health got worse, and he eventually started to have heart palpitations and severe mood swings. His doctors urged him to stop, but he continued on and finished his 30-day challenge, gaining a total of 24.5 pounds in just 1 month. When it came time to get his final checkup with his doctors, they discovered something truly alarming. Morgan's liver was inflamed and in terrible shape. The doctor who examined Morgan had only seen this kind of damage to someone's liver who was abusing alcohol, and was in shock just 1 month of eating fast food could end up ruining his liver to this degree.
If somebody were doing this to their liver with alcohol, they could theoretically wipe out the liver, wipe out all the liver cells, and there'd be liver failure. Now, I've never heard of anybody doing this to their liver with a high-fat diet, but I guess anything's possible. I mean, I don't know. I can't answer the question. Never been done before. No one's ever wiped out their liver with a high-fat diet before.
Now, over time, a high-fat diet can lead to fatty liver and cause some of the issues Morgan was having, but as the doctor said, he's never seen anyone do this with a high-fat diet, and the damage looked much more like that of an alcoholic. Super Size Me ended up being a huge success in theaters and made Morgan Spurlock a celebrity overnight. He spent only $65,000 making the film, and it ended up making him over $22 million in box office totals, which is an insane return on investment. McDonald's refuted many of the claims Morgan made in his movie, and even paid for ads to run in theaters before the movie, claiming the information wasn't accurate, but the audience ate up the film anyway. And the fast food industry made big changes in the years following the film to appear to be a much healthier option than what was shown in the Super Size Me movie. Following the success of that film, Morgan made many more documentaries and several TV shows, and it appeared he was on top of the world, but that all changed during the Me Too movement. Many big names in Hollywood were canceled for their mistreatment of women, with Harvey Weinstein being the most well-known of those taken down. Morgan Spurlock was also canceled during this time, but he wasn't actually called out by any women for mistreating them. Morgan actually canceled himself when he wrote a letter in 2017 admitting that he was a part of the problem and coming clean about sexual misconduct he had been accused of in college, as well as his business several years later. Following that reveal, Morgan Spurlock's career was effectively over, and all of his future projects he had with the studios were canceled. One studio even sued him because all of the money they had invested in the project with him was now going down the drain. Now you may be thinking, Scott, what does this have to do with the Super Size Me documentary being a fraud? Well, it turns out in that same letter Morgan released covering his misconduct allegations, Morgan also revealed near the bottom of the letter his past history of being abused as a child, and also admits to being a lifelong alcoholic when he said, "Or is it because I've consistently been drinking since the age of 13, I haven't been sober for more than a week in 30 years. I'm actually really shocked more people haven't picked up on what he said there. That letter was released in 2017, and Super Size Me was made in 2003, meaning he was a 14-year alcoholic when he made that film. By his own admission, he admits to never being sober for more than a week, which means that he was drinking during his McDonald's experiment. This statement directly contradicts what he told doctors in his own documentary when he was being evaluated before his experiment.
Any alcohol use?
Now, none.
With this admission of being a lifelong alcoholic, when we look back at many of the symptoms Morgan claimed were from eating McDonald's for just a month, many of these symptoms line up with alcohol abuse, or symptoms of someone trying to stop drinking. Those who abuse alcohol can suffer from many ailments, but it's especially hard on a person's liver and can lead to something known as alcoholic hepatitis. Knowing what we know now, it really sheds new light on the scene where his doctor is blown away by his liver being destroyed by just 1 month of fatty food consumption.
If somebody were doing this to their liver with alcohol, they could theoretically wipe out the liver, wipe out all the liver cells and there'd be liver failure. Now, I've never heard of anybody doing this to their liver with a high-fat diet.
If Morgan's own damning words aren't evidence enough that this whole movie was a lie, a Swedish university tried to replicate Morgan's experiment in 2006 with several college students eating the 5,000-calorie McDonald's diet, like in the film. Eating that many calories, they obviously gained weight, but none of them experienced any mood swings, depression, or liver damage. The Swedish scientist even speculated that Morgan must have an underlying condition which caused liver damage, since none of their participants came close to replicating his results. Now at this point you might be thinking, Scott, you're just being a McShill for big beef. I can't believe you would do this. And that's not the case at all. I've eaten far too many quarter pounders in my life, and I know if I never ate another one again, I'd probably be a lot better off. McDonald's and other fast food places pack their products with preservatives and chemicals to make it taste just right, and undoubtedly this is some of the worst food you can consume. Despite that, the Super Size Me documentary is a lie about an alcoholic man passing his sickness off as a result of only eating McDonald's for a month, when that's clearly not true. At this point, I'm quite shocked McDonald's didn't McSue him after all the negative publicity this movie caused their company. To this day, Super Size Me is still shown in schools across America as a warning to kids what fast food can do to you. While kids shouldn't be consuming junk food every day, peddling a lie to them isn't the way to go either. Ultimately, what it ends up coming down to is calories in versus calories out. You can make almost any diet work if you follow this principle, which has been demonstrated many times before. One YouTuber actually did an experiment of eating only Taco Bell for an entire month and ended up losing weight and getting in better shape. I'll have a link to that video below, and now that we know Morgan Spurlock's McDonald's experiment was a total fraud, maybe Sam can make a follow-up and see if he can improve his health eating only McDonald's for an entire month as well. Like I mentioned before, obviously this isn't the best food to be eating daily, but trying to pass off your propaganda hit piece as a documentary against McDonald's while at the same time being an alcoholic with liver problems just isn't something that should be celebrated, and hopefully more people will realize just how much of a lie that film actually is.